What's good, my beautiful kings and queens? It's Wini, your favorite British locked YouTuber. If you're an OD, welcome back to my channel. It is a pleasure to have you as usual, and I thank you so much for the continuous support. If you are a newbie, hey, I'm Wini. I run this locks and lifestyle channel. Please make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you're notified every single time that I upload. If maybe you just stopped by accident, maybe I just popped up on a suggestions video, hey, please hit the subscribe button anyway and hit the bell icon anyway, so that you know you continue to watch my videos. Join the family, man. Don't be shy. But today's video, as you can see, lock trends that I've ditched. So basically the whole concept behind this video is this: I obviously watch other locked YouTubers, I read blog posts and many other things, and you know, there's certain suggestions that come up that intrigue me, and me being human, I test some of these things out just to see if it will be beneficial to me, if it will be beneficial to my locks and all of that good stuff. So with that being said, I do want to say before this video continues, these are my personal opinions. Opinions aren't facts. Take them in and let them go, just like Lauren Hill would say. And not only that, but this is my personal lock journey, so if anything that I do say works well for you, that's amazing, but unfortunately these things didn't work for me, or I just found them pointless to my locks. So I have got my phone right here, in which I have written a lot of my notes. First point that I've got here, I'm smiling so much because this is a funny one. I know it's also a controversial one at that. Brushing your locks. Oh my gosh. So the amount of times I've seen people talk about brushing their locks, the benefits of it, why everybody with locks should do it, yada yada. Okay, cool, I get it. I do actually understand the thinking behind it, if we can word it like that. So basically the whole thing is, you gently brush your locks with a bristled brush to remove lint or anything that may be on the surface of your locks. You brushing it prevents it from basically penetrating deeper into your locks. Some people have sworn by doing this after they've gone to the beach, so you know, if you've got any kind of sand and stuff in your hair, you can do that. Some people have sworn by doing it before they wash their hair, because they feel that if you've obviously got some dust or whatever it may be on the surface of your locks, and then you then wash it, it is going to go deeper into your locks. I briefly gave it a try because I was curious, and there was a point in time of my lock journey that I did feel very obsessed about how my locks look. I didn't like the idea of, you know, it being noticeable that things have been caught up in my locks, amongst other things. Basically, if this is the first time that you're watching a video of mine, you may not be aware, but I think in July will mark 9 years since I've had my locks. Having locks is a continuous journey. You learn so much. The more that you go along, the more you learn. Sometimes there are things that work well for you that at some point of your journey no longer works well for you, or there are things that may not work well for you at the start of your lock journey that later on down the line does work well for your lock journey. Brushing locks for me just doesn't make any sense. The reason for that, and actually funnily enough, I love Yanni the Lockologist. If you lot don't know who she is, I would definitely suggest that you watch her videos. So Yanni basically specializes, ooh, my phone's going off, sorry. So basically Yanni specializes in making videos, creating content, and she also does people's hair. But she does all of this from a holistic standpoint. So she focuses on, you know, not just things that you should use for your locks, but things that you should also consume from within, because obviously what you put into your body comes out. Makes sense, right? And I was recently watching one of her videos, and she was even saying that she doesn't understand the concept of brushing locks, and exactly what she said is exactly how I feel. Locks basically form from your locks matting together, yeah? So in a way, not even in a way, it's a fact, locks form from matting together, yeah? why then brush? The whole concept of brushing and using combs and stuff is obviously to detangle your hair. So you now want to use something that's used to detangle your hair on your locks. The second point I've written here is picking the fluff out when wet, stroke obsessing over locks. Oh, this one's a bit of a very interesting one. Like I said in the first point, I feel like there was quite a large part of my lock journey where I was very obsessed about my locks looking appealing to everybody's eyes, and it being very, very neat, and it obviously looking very clean. And in turn, I kind of associated the whole fluff being stuck in your hair, lint being caught up in your hair, as a sign of your hair being dirty. But what one needs to realize is, if you have locks, things are gonna get caught up in your hair, period. Especially the longer your locks get. And if you're somebody like myself and you don't cover your locks when you're out and about, it's going to happen. It's inevitable. It's a part of the lock journey. You just need to embrace it. So for me, one of the things that I really used to do is, I noticed that after washing my hair, for whatever reason, it would make it very easy for me to spot what is stuck in my locks. And it was very, I don't know what the word is, but we'll go for crazy, because it is crazy. It was crazy the lengths that I would go to picking things out of my locks. So for example, with some of the things that I would see, it would be kind of easy, like you kind of see like right on the end, so you can just gently pick it up. With other things, it was like, it was very deeply penetrated into my locks, and I was so obsessed about wanting to get whatever that I could see out of my locks. Like, it doesn't matter if I damage my locks, I would just, you know, finger curl it and make it look better. I no longer do that. I no longer obsess about what's stuck in my hair and what's not. If I happen to be taking care of my locks and I see, oh, like there's this white fluff at the bottom of my locks that I can just gently pick out without damaging my locks, then cool, I will do that. However, I will not go out of my way to potentially damage my locks to take something out of it. I have seen countless of videos on here where I've even seen one person in particular, I'm not going to mention any names, physically kind of comb out the end of her locks just so that she can get out some fluff and do what I used to do with the whole finger curl thing. And it's just like, what is the point? You're obsessing over your locks unnecessarily. How I see the lock journey is meant to be an easy one. You know, you've grown your locks. It's a natural journey. It's a beautiful journey. You need to learn to embrace different stages of your hair, and one of the stages that you need to learn to stop obsessing over is things getting caught into your hair, because I'm sorry to break it to you, no matter what you do, it's going to happen. There are people here that probably will swear up and down they don't have no lint, they don't have anything trapped in your hair, but I can guarantee you, you probably do. And maybe, you know what, you wrap your locks all the time, still doesn't change anything. Yanni the lockologist, for example, she always has her locks wrapped up, and even she's come out on a video and said she still has lint in her locks. It's inevitable. So my next point, again, this is a personal one for me, but it is oiling and spritzing my locks for the sake of it. In hindsight, I actually mean oiling and spritzing, but when you're overdoing it way too much. So there was a point in time where I was listening to other people's advice in regards to how many times a week you should spritz your hair, how many times a week you should oil your locks or oil your scalp or whatever it may be. And no, it doesn't work. I always like to make it clear, even you that you're watching my video right now, these are my opinions. Opinions aren't necessarily facts. On my channel, I tend to talk a lot about what works well for my hair, and I also talk about what doesn't work well for my hair. However, what we need to take on board is somebody could oil their scalp every single day and their hair grows beautifully and it works well for them, and you might try that because they've now said, oh, it works amazing for me, and it doesn't work well for you. For me personally, oiling my scalp every single day unnecessarily, I've said it already, it's unnecessary. The same with spritzing my locks every single day. I'm currently using Heritage Store rose water to spritz my hair. That's what I use. And in terms of hair oil, I basically mix extra virgin olive oil, which is this. I normally don't care for brands, but this is a Tesco one. And I mix it with extra virgin avocado cold pressed oil, this. And I just use a little bit. I don't use too much because our hair makes its own hair oils. In terms of like spritzing and oiling it, I'm not gonna lie, I do it when it needs to be done. So if I've taken down my hair from like a high bun or whatever that it's in, and I can feel, you know what, my hair feels dry today, I will spritz it. I don't have a set thing of, oh, I spritz my hair 3 times a week, oh, I do it 5 times a week. I do it and I oil my scalp when it's necessary. On average, I probably oil my scalp now maybe once or twice a week. It's something that I don't like to do often because it just gets too much and it irritates my scalp. You need to listen to what your hair needs. You need to figure out what works well for you and stop obsessing. And also stop taking everyone's advice as a holy grail. And that includes even watching my videos, because like I've said, I speak about what works well for me. Retwisting often. If you're an OD, then you'll know why I'm smiling. If maybe you're not familiar with my previous lock videos, I was very obsessed at one stage of my lock journey with interlocking. There was a point in time when I used to interlock my hair, which feels like a very long time ago, because in hindsight it actually was. But then I also became obsessed with retwisting my locks. Like if I saw that a grain of hair was out of place, I would have to interlock it or I'd have to retwist it. In terms of interlocking, my obsession got so bad that I remember one time I was in Ghana for about 6 months, and because I was so obsessed with wanting my locks to look neat, there was one particular lock like somewhere here, and it just looked, you know, the baby hairs have come out of it. In hindsight, the Winnie that I am today, it really wasn't that bad, but at the time I just thought, oh my gosh, no, I need to sort this out. So I got my interlock needle. I forgot what it's called. You know, the little needle thing that people use to interlock. I got it and I started interlocking that particular lock, and lo and behold, it fell out. It fell out, and to this day, like, I didn't bother retouching it. So to this day, I've got a part towards the front of my head that is basically missing a lock. And that was a valuable lesson to me. Stop fussing. Literally stop fussing over your locks. There is no need for you to interlock or to retwist every week, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. In fact, there's no need to even do it every 4 weeks. Let your hair breathe. Let your hair grow. Styling often. This is very simple. It kind of goes hand in hand with the whole retwisting thing, in my opinion. But styling often is something that I don't do. This year I've had my hair in lock knots twice, but prior to that I hadn't had my hair in any style since last August. Because listen, when you're styling your hair, sometimes you're styling it too tightly and it's pulling, you know, the roots back, and then that's when, you know, you start losing your edges and your hairline just messes up and it just causes too much strain. I just don't believe in that whole excessive styling. I see a lot of styles, especially people that go to hair salons and they get it done and they look gorgeous, they look amazing. However, if you're continuously getting it done all the time, it's just very damaging. It's damaging to your locks personally. So for me, styling my hair often is just, it's something that I ditched. My last point is laying down edges. I feel like, yeah, this is my personal opinion again. I feel like I need to keep saying it's my personal opinion. It's almost like we get locks and then we forget that we're not loose naturals. If you're a loose natural and you're slicking down your edges and stuff and gel or products build up, then it's cool because you can easily wash it out and you don't have to worry about it getting stuck in your locks and X, Y, and Z. When you have locks leave your edges alone, because one, the product build-up isn't worth it. Some of you are going to say, oh, but the edge control that I use doesn't leave product build-up. Okay, cool. But two, it leaves a stickiness. And what you don't realize is that stickiness actually does eventually lead to product build-up. Three, I just think it's very damaging to always be obsessing over your edges and always slicking it down. And for those of you that use edge control or gels, whatever it may be, that then hardens your edges when you slick it down, why embrace your unruly embrace your unruly edges. I don't even like the term unruly edges, but you get what I mean. Like, for example, I mentioned that I have a lot of baby hair, so what happens is when I wash my locks, it then tends to come out of the locks, and then I worry about the roots potentially thinning out, so then I braid it into my lock. But when I braid it into my lock, I do it very loosely. Yeah, I need to make that clear. I don't braid it in tightly, I do it very loosely. The whole thing of being obsessed with your edges when you have locks, to me, it doesn't make sense, because locks is about embracing your natural hair, embracing it for the state that it is, embracing your hair texture for what it is. So that whole kind of manipulating your edges, for me, it doesn't make sense. And if you watch previous videos of mine, before anybody tries to call me out, I have tried the whole laying down edges before. I've done a whole video on how to do it. And you've also got to keep in mind that as individuals, we grow. The more we continue our lock journey, the more we learn about ourselves, the more we do things differently, the more that we work out, oh, things I used to do before with my hair, yeah, that wasn't it. So videos that I made in regards to slicking down your edges from, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, you can't pull it out and be like, oh, but Wini, you used to do X, Y, and Z. Because people change, people do better, our opinions change, we're evolving all the time. I think if you are somebody that is worried about your edges, the best thing for you to do is to tie your hair with a satin scarf, and then whenever you're leaving your house or whatever, take it off, and it will give the illusion that your edges are quote unquote laid. Right, so that's basically all of the points that I had, which were 6 points. I will, you know, round this video up by saying that personally for me, I am not a Rastafarian, but what I will say is that when it comes to locks, I do think that the Rasta way of having locks makes a lot of sense. And that's basically doing the bare minimum and allowing your locks to just grow and be as natural as possible. In the sense of, when I talk to a lot of Rastas in regards to locks, they do the very least. They don't bombard their hair with products. They don't worry about styling. They don't over manipulate their hair. They just literally allow their hair to breathe, do its thing. And you'll notice, like, if you do get the opportunity to see a Rasta's hair, because some of them do have their locks wrapped up a lot of the time, but if you do get the opportunity to see a Rasta's locks, they are always tend to be so beautiful, they tend to be so healthy, they tend to have really beautiful, strong, thick, gorgeous roots, and I absolutely love it. And I love having conversations with them, because you know what, it was through having conversations with them that I realized that at some point of my lock journey, I was doing the most. There really is no need to be doing a lot of the things that I've mentioned in this video. Everything is in moderation. If you're going to oil your scalp, use a little bit of oil. You don't need to do it every day. Do it a couple times a week, depending on obviously your situation, your circumstance. You don't need to spritz your hair every day. Again, depending on one's hair circumstances. Check and see what works well for you and what doesn't. Like, if you're touching your locks and your locks feels moisturized, why do you need to spritz it? You don't. I feel like, I can only imagine how it feels like for Rastas, to be honest, because I feel like locks have become quote unquote fashionable, and it kind of sounds hypocritical, because I guess one could say that I'm a newbie to this locks game, but I feel like a lot of people that have now kind of jumped onto having locks do too much with it. And because they do too much with it, they now send off the message that for you to have healthy locks, you also need to be doing too much. But I can reassure you that doing the least with your locks will have your locks flourishing, honestly. And not only that, but it's not even about what you put on your hair as well, it's also about what you consume from within. That's why I suggest to you guys that if you don't know who Yadi the lochologist is, watch her videos, because trust me, she goes in depth into that. Thank you very much for watching this video. If there are any lock trends that you've given a try and you no longer follow, please leave it in the comment section below. Let's get to talking, because I really would love to know what they are. But thank you very much for watching this video, and until my next one, take care, be good.